Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Beginner Breakdowns. As always, I'm the KZA, and with me is Seth Series, as represented by a still from one of Kojima's finest works. How you doing tonight, Seth? How you doing tonight, Seth?
I'm doing all right. I've been working all day. I spent the last 2 hours nearly having a panic attack trying to install this fucking SSD. The point where I just fucking gave up, and I'll deal with it tomorrow at work.
Yeah, I know how that is. I built my own computer a little while ago, and I forgot to plug something in and didn't boot, and I freaked out.
Oh yeah. No, I'll probably just return this SSD just because I don't want to fucking deal with it.
I feel that. So, before we get started tonight, I just wanted to announce something, and I'll remind everyone again at the end of the broadcast tonight. Next week, rather than reviewing your submissions, we're going to do a special episode where we review some of Seth's and possibly mine, if I have the time to drill some out, our own play against other coaches and players, both to shake up the format a little bit, and so that we can demonstrate the very important skill of critiquing your own mistakes and noticing and watching your own play for things you can do better next time. So look forward to that next week, and don't stop sending us replays. There'll be more than enough time to get more of those in the weeks to come. But definitely tune in next week where you'll get to see us trash ourselves instead of whoever sends us replays. With that out of the way, first up tonight is actually a pair of one of our coaches and one of our consistent players, Nyanya and Apollo AJ, playing Karen and Cammy. What do you think about the matchup? I've got my opinions, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Honestly, this can go either way depending on the player. Cammy has the high damage potential to shred. They're both characters who... Cammy certainly has the less health of the two, but Cammy has the higher damage output, whereas Karen has options. I really feel this matchup is just dependent on the player. I hesitate to say it, but I think it's a 5-5.
My opinion is basically in this matchup, whoever tends to win the neutral will win the match, which I think puts the edge slightly in Karen's favor, but not a whole lot. Cammy's neutral isn't that much worse.
I think the worst this matchup can be is like a 5.5, 4.5 situation.
Well, with that, let's get this playing.
Do you have the title change?
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Commands. I was trying to do it, but I forgot what the exact commands were.
All right, so
now starting off with the VSkill as a poke, and AJ gets hit with it.
Wow, AJ is really getting savage here. Good block on the fake cross-up, though.
Yeah, there's definitely some good stuff there.
That was an excellent stuff. That's a thing you got to watch out for against lower rank.
Let's go ahead.
Unfortunately, I can't rewind because it's a replay. But Cammy's trying to use that spin knuckle. Don't let him. It's slow as hell. You can throw something in its way and they'll run right into it.
I liked the cannon drill to kind of get under in that situation.
Could have confirmed off that he was buffering. You should always be buffering if you're throwing out those crouching medium kicks as Cammy, because on hit you can confirm into spiral arrow, get some real damage out there. No reason not to buffer, really.
That's a good EXDP to kind of shut down the EX hooligan.
Nia's combo's been on point.
Nia is way better than she lets herself on to be.
Okay, that's a problem. So what I'm going to say there is that's the thing I've encountered with a couple of players recently. Ooh, perfect.
How's that for blood?
In fact, almost everyone we're going to be watching tonight, most of the people who submitted tonight for tonight are regulars. And what I'm going to say about almost everyone we're going to see tonight is that they're better than they think they are. A lot of it is just a lack of confidence in their own ability that's holding them back to some degree. If you're confident in your play, you can make up for a lot of you can even make up for like a certain amount of lower skill just by playing more confidently, because playing confidently means you feel comfortable making decisions, and at the end of the day, making decisions wins the game.
I mean, sometimes it's easy just to have a game plan and commit to your game plan.
Like, it's definitely not the end all be all. Don't let, and you definitely still need to keep practicing. But if you're consistently thinking, oh, I'm not that good, you won't be that good, because part of winning is having the mindset that this is a winnable thing, that I am as good or better than I think I am, and that I can contest the sort of thing that gets people killed. The other thing I'm going to definitely note from these guys is they're both fairly patient players. We're not seeing a lot of which actually I think is working against AJ in this case. Like, Cammy can be played patient, but against someone like Eren, I really think you should be a little bit less patient.
Like, Cammy has the ability, especially a lot of the cast, just to go in and start stuff.
And I feel like AJ is playing this a little too passively. Like, Karen can scare you into doing that because she's very strong at neutral, very strong pokes, but on the converse, you've got to lock her down when you can, because otherwise you're just giving her free reign to do exactly what we're seeing here. Just keep poking and prodding until she gets something in. You've got to contest that.
Yeah, Nya is definitely one of the things I can say about this match is she set the pace of the match. Just like, this is Nya's game, and it never stopped being Nya's game.
All right, Nya sent us one other replay, so 1 second.
I think this is the next replay is also set with our good friend AJ here. I think they both were those.
Yep, and again, we're trying to get at least some sets in here, so this is a good pair. Let's see if AJ, this is, I think, the second of the two, so let's see if AJ adapts any to them after that mauling he took in the first round.
Yeah, it was a little rough, little rough in the tooth there. We'll see. This is anyone's game, so
so yeah, definitely tends to open that VSkill poke, which is something you should keep in mind. That's, I think, -2.
It is -2.
So if contest that, don't just cede ground.
Yeah, their turn's over. I know Laura can grab that. Can Geef?
Oh, I can grab it all day. I've done it. Also, interestingly, it's technically a projectile, so I can lariat through it.
That's beautiful.
Like, it's not really something you should rely on because, obviously that's extremely obvious. Like, lariat takes a while to come up. But if Karen's using that a lot in US Geef, that palm blast is in fact a projectile, and you can in fact lariat it, which is hilarious.
Oh, I can imagine. A little bit of a missed opportunity there. Like, this set is still very much Nya just controlling the pace.
AJ is using a lot of V reversals, which actually, as Cammy, I don't recommend against Karen because
Cammy wants a V trigger because Cammy's V trigger is not only compounds her damage, it compounds the hits, it compounds the stun. She has more combo routes through it.
Oof.
Like, it's...
And additionally, Cammy's V reversal, as we mentioned before, is pretty poor. Mostly because the side switching is nice, but it's so slow that it's easy to counter for a lot of characters. So AJ got mauled again, and so definitely Nya sent this in. My advice to her is that she's already better than she really seems to believe she is, and it's just a matter of maintaining that confidence in the face of opponents who are more aggressive. I feel like I think AJ's problem this whole set is that he's not playing aggressively enough. He's letting Nya set the pace of the match and failing to take it back when given opportunities. Like, again, that -2 doesn't take anything. Big jump in. Cammy's anti-airs are great. Why wasn't it an anti-air? Just missed opportunities. And what happens when you cede control like that is what we're seeing here. Someone just keeps going. At some point you've got a contest. Like, sitting here blocking in the corner, this defense is great, but defense will never win you the game. You've got to do something.
You can be defensive all you want and then just get chipped out, or eventually just get hit with resets, hit with something.
Yeah, that end of that round is kind of emblematic. I was setting the pace, but a lot of that wasn't completely real because you cannot maintain that level of pressure and have it be completely safe in Street Fighter V. It's not possible. Everybody has to give some time.
So the thing we're seeing right here is I'm seeing a lot of retreating from Apollo. It really feels like he does not feel comfortable enough in the... It doesn't feel like he feels comfortable enough in the pressure. He's running away. He's just not comfortable.
Yeah, I've noticed that when he gets low, he starts making these big bets. The EX hooligans, the big, no confirmed spiral arrows. And that can work, but if you're only doing it when you're in panic mode, then you're going to lose. You've got to be willing to do that sort of thing. If you're going to do it, you've got to be willing to do it whenever to catch people off guard.
And the thing is, Cammy's a character who can just go in. Like, Cammy has the ability to just start. And once she gets going, her safe pressure is really dangerous. She can... And she has a lot of tools just to open you up. So it's just a battle of what is and what isn't effective. So we got those. So moving in for the next one.
For the rest of tonight, we've got 3 separate... Rest of tonight, we've got 1 longer match and then 2 shorter matches from Xstaltz, or Denzil, who I see in our Twitch chat. Hello, good to see you. First a long set versus a Urian, then a shorter pair versus a Zangief and a Jury. And then finally we have an Ibuki versus a Balrog. I believe it was Mega Man who put this in.
That's a higher ranked set too. I'm actually really excited to crack into that one.
Yeah, so that one's kind of the last one. It's going to be a special treat because those are 2 very strong characters. I definitely want to go over those characters because they're ones we get a lot of complaints about because of how good they are.
Definitely. Alright, so let's begin.
Alright, so we got Urian versus Xstaltz's Amica. Xstaltz is another player I want. We've been through this with him a couple of times. I want to say, as always, I really think he could be better than he is. He just needs to kind of keep his head in the game as Micah a little bit more. He's got all the tools. He knows what he's doing. He just has to think harder, as it were, not play better, if that makes sense.
Okay. So a lot of the things I'm seeing here is there's just... Especially with Micah, he needs to be setting the pace a little bit more. Urian does have big normals and has the ability to kind of play space. But at the same time, he's got options to kind of work around some of that. We saw a minute ago where he did the slide under the fireball. Especially right here, we're just seeing a bit of a struggle, and there doesn't need to be one. So, okay. So, good punish on the falling knee. Not a good follow-up. Not a lot of follow-up to it, but it's getting work. So getting into the corner is definitely good because at this point, Urian has to guess, and one of his best guesses is going to be that EX headbutt, which let him do it. Like, get that crush counter. Mika's crush counters are disgusting.
Good corner, good combo confirmed, excellent corner carry. Definitely. Ooh, the reverse throw, the classic Urian.
So
good
one thing
defense.
Yeah, that was really good defense. And one thing I was gonna compliment, and we kind of got hijacked. Denzil's like corner presence is really strong. Like, especially just watching right there, like the corner carry from left to right to put Urian into the corner and to put Urian back in the corner after that happened is like it's definitely really important.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think the problem for Denzil in this match and in general when we've gone over it before is not so much knowing how to play Micah, but how to kind of play the more basic like thoughtfulness of the game, because
he knows how to play his character. He's got to learn how to play Street Fighter now.
Yeah, because if you notice, corner whenever the action moves to the corner, he gets to have a great old time, which is the Micah, the kind of the Micah motto. The problem is getting there, getting in against this Urian, and fighting his way in. And we were seeing a lot of jumping. We're seeing a lot of
I think I will say this Urian seems a little more skilled than he may be letting on.
Oof! Excellent wingless airplane though. Really, really good read.
Because those resets that just happened are actually some fairly technical resets.
Good use of the microphone.
I am incredibly into what just happened there. So good jump in tick throw.
Another good jump in tick throw. Good.
Puts us immediately back into the corner, which is where Denzil wants to be.
Yeah, those jump in tick throws are a strong tool for Micah. Micah does have very good jump in buttons, especially for a grappler.
So I'm a little upset at that. I don't know how much of a better option that was, but especially with that big EX headbutt, that was crush counter bait right there. Like that should have been. We should have been seeing more stun off that more. Like that was a good confirm into EX, whatever her EX reversal thing is, but like just there could have been more off that, and it's not capitalizing off a good opportunity.
Solid second game. One thing I want to say, Denzil, is that I don't think you're using your meaty command throws enough. You're doing a lot of meaties, but those aren't as much of a threat if you're not also occasionally throwing in a meaty command throw or even just a meaty regular throw, just to make sure they remember it's there.
I can understand like being a little hesitant in that situation, especially when Urian had meter. But if they don't have meter, like if they don't have meter or they're a character that doesn't have an EX reversal, go in, make them scared, especially when you've got that corner.
Yeah, like Micah does tend to use a lot of normal meaties more than she uses meaty throws, but being a grappler, you have to meaty throw sometimes, otherwise they don't respect it.
You can't let them, as I say, you can't let them feel safe.
Yeah,
like there should be no situation where they aren't having to be afraid of guessing the throw.
And Micah, especially since she does have one of the chain throw abilities with her brimstone throw, you got to do it sometimes just to make sure they stay afraid of that happening to them, so they next time they jump and they get hit by Lady Micah.
Like especially with grapplers, like your opponent should always be afraid, and
yes,
your 50-50s exist for a reason. Also, like a lot of these throws could have been teched. Like he is going for it.
Yeah, a lot of Urians do that as a note. Like if you're having trouble against Urians, like watch out for tick throws. They love them. They love them to death.
Good blocks.
Yeah, except for
still kind of got clipped, but at the same time, like that was a bad situation.
Yeah. Also, comment from X Stultz in the chat. He's damn. I sweep a lot. You do, and I mean Mika's sweep is one of the better ones for stuff like this. But definitely, it's mostly landed in this match too because he's not blocking low as much as he should be. But yeah, definitely you got to be careful with it because it's so punishable.
Definitely. I mean, it's a good sweep, but it's still a sweep.
I'm really like just the use of cross ups and everything here. Like, I'm a little mad about that. That should have been a crush counter. I don't know if they're and I see Kenstar in the chat and I see Denzil in the chat. Like, if there's a reason not to crush counter there versus using that confirm, please let me know. But like, I feel like there's a lot being left on the table.
Yeah. So again, what that comes back down to is what I said before: thinking rather than just playing. You can know all your character's stuff, but you have to have that brain there, so you see that crush counter, you think crush counter instead of just going into my medium B and B. Or you get in that situation, you think I should throw him instead of I'm just gonna do what I usually do. Especially with grapplers who so depend on that kind of mix up, you've got to keep your head in the game and be thinking ahead. Like what am I going to do next? Like how am I going to mix them up? How am I going to get in? And that's all that keeping that head in the game, thinking about your what you actually can do, and kind of thinking about that possibility space, and so that when that moment happens, it's there, it's at your fingertips. You're not groping for it and reacting, half a frame, half a second, 30 frames later, whatever.
All right, so let's take a look at this. I don't like this matchup for people who aren't Geef.
It's definitely not in Mika's favor. Most of the grappler versus Geef matchups are in Geef's favor, I would say.
Laura can kind of... I'd say for Laura it's 5-5, only because she does kind of have some longer buttons, but it is not Amica.
Good use of the body splash to get Lariat. Lariat is terrible at people coming around directly above your head, and so body splash shuts it down real good.
All right, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Like, there's a lot of just pokes and a lot of like, I'm seeing like a lot of whiff punishes into really good damage.
Yeah, honestly, this Geef is playing, if anything, a little bit too safely, and when he's getting pressured, like. This is Micah. You got to have that EX SPD ready sometimes. Like
he is just not respecting any of these meaties. So
yeah, he's not respecting the meaties. He's using the wrong anti-air. Like if Micah against Micah, I prefer to use the jab.
Send him to Sunsteady.
Against Micah, I prefer to use the jab because it's much better against things like body splash. Oops, threw him out of the corner there. I can see Denzil messing up in the chat.
Mistakes happen. That was a good way to kind of check V trigger there. I like that.
Good read and jump out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was just honestly you outplayed the hell out of that Zangief. He was not responding well to the situations, and you exploited that ruthlessly.
Yeah, that was being able to identify Geef gimmicks and then just shut them down.
Like that is I see Keen starts saying it's fairly even. I still think it slightly favors Geef because he has the invincible, several ways to become invincible to throws, which allow him to control the flow when you're kind of going back and forth a little bit better than Micah does. But that's my opinion as a Geef player, so it may vary. Definitely, like, what happened there is a lack of adaptation strongly on the Geef's part. And, like, that Geef needs to... He either doesn't know the matchup or he just wasn't thinking, but, like, if he got hit by Body Splash while doing Lariat, like, what, 4 or 5 times? After about time 2 or 3, you really should stop.
Agreed. Like, there was a lot of mistakes, and there was some really smart play on Denzil's half. So congrats on that. That was a good set.
Yeah, like absolutely good decision making by Denzil, despite a couple of mistakes like throwing him back out of the corner, and combined with Geef just playing dumb. To be honest with you. All right, so one more Denzil set versus a Jury, a matchup that I think distinctly does not ever favor Jury against grapplers because Jury puts herself -2 a lot, which means that almost every grappler gets a free mix-up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she has a few tricks, but she's just so commonly like putting herself in range for her own mix-ups that it's hard for me to say that's favorable for her at all.
Which is emotionally killing me on the inside because I struggle with this matchup a lot.
It's a weird, like, honestly, it's one of those ones you just gotta train it a bit, in my opinion, because like Juri's tricks are pretty limited, and she's very weak to certain things.
That's done.
But you see her so little in online and such like that, it's hard to get the experience. Like that was a good example of what I mean. Let's rewind. Let's go through that round again, because that's pretty much an illustration of what I think happens to Juris against grapplers if you know what's going on. Like, start off, you know, you get some opening back and forth. Juri does have a lot of range. Her pokes are comparable in length to like Cammy, so it can be troublesome. They're just less positive, and she, you know, relies on the stop mechanic. But then you get Juri into the corner, and she just doesn't have a lot of good ways to deal with this. She has, you know, in theory, an EXDP, but it's a pretty bad one, and she doesn't really have a lot of other options to fight her way out of that situation.
Alright, so let's see what happens here in this next round.
Like, if you can pressure Juri, you really should, because a lot of her tools will just, you know, her escape attempts will leave her punishable or minus, and then you just go right back into it.
Juri's starting to come alive a little bit.
Yeah, you know, a lot of that's fake. Like, there we go. That's, yeah. See, that was minus, I forget, like -4 or something like that. It's barely punishable, as I recall. Oof, drops the combo, but still keeps her in the corner, which is what matters. Okay, so that's Juri's VSkill there. That's a common like trick people use a lot to get out of things as Juri. You got to block forward and then turn around and block back, and then it's punishable. Alternatively, it's also one of the ones that you can theoretically like intercept if she appears in front of you, but it's tricky. I wouldn't recommend it. And keep in mind that once she charges it, it's there. She has that charge until she decides to use it. So, you know, when you see her doing the charge for it, just keep in mind that it's an option coming up. It's slow to start though, so if you're on top of her, she can't do it. Unless you know, seed. Good EXDP on her part there, honestly. Ooh, here we go.
Yeah, this is what I want to see. I need to see that Micah blender.
This Juri is doing an excellent job blocking these cross-up body splashes. I think there's a lot of matchup experience at play here.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all. Good throw break.
Now she's in the corner again. Juri, ooh!
Kill them!
Yeah, see, this is
Bait the D.
like more so than most characters. Juri is very bad in that situation. Like, oof, good DP though. Ha! Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bare minimum victory, but it still counts. Juri is super vulnerable in the corner. Like her DP is, it's okay, but it's not a particularly good one. And the problem is that her other options are all like just put her back in the mix-up. So it's very hard for her to fight her way out of pressure. And so, especially since she depends on stocks to get some of her better moves. So if you're on top of her, she can't even stock half the time.
Yeah.
So definitely, that Juri definitely knew what she was trying to do, but Denzil just overwhelmed it, which is what you got to do. That's how grapplers work.
There's some really interesting results populating here.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with half of these.
There's like some fish and some snakes and baseball.
Yeah, Denzil is saying that he failed a couple command grabs with meaty and non during those matches, and that's something you just got to practice. Like, people joke about, you know, Zangief players like me churning all the time, but really I did practice like getting those 360s for like ages, so that now I can do it like basically in my sleep. It's just something you got to have that option on deck all the time, any time. Like, you got to have those commands at your fingertips, especially as a grappler, since they're so important. They're a key part of your arsenal. Unless you're Alex, in which case you could forget about doing powerbomb a lot of the time and it wouldn't matter.
All right, let's get in here.
All right. Last submitted one for this evening is this Buki versus this Balrog. Two characters that people really have trouble with for kind of
Two
related
characters that everyone thinks are broken.
And so, I want to go over one of them, and you can go over the other. Which one would you prefer to talk about?
I have a lot of matchup experience against Ibuki.
So in that case, Balrog, right? Our boxer, whatever you want to call him. I'm sure some of our folks are from places that call him something else. Everyone complains because he does a butt ton of damage. Like, he gets these easy mix-ups. He does a ton of damage. And especially with his V-trigger available, he just can take away half your health in a single confirm. And then, of course, there's tap. That's most of the time, it's more of a joke than anything else. But then you get nailed by it, and it's not so funny anymore. So what do you do about Balrog, right? Well, he is definitely a character you have to train extensively against, because his classic low-tier mix-up with his dash punches going high or low, all the options that aren't the normal dash straight can be stuffed. You can stop that mix-up because he has the low, which you can just crouch block, or the overhead. And the overhead is reactable, but you have to train yourself to react to it. And that will shut down pretty much every low-rank Balrog I ever did play, because they depend on that stuff. And then when you play higher-rank Balrogs, they're going to be depending more on his big damage and his strong, neutral poking game to confirm into those dash punches, get that big damage. And then there you just
higher-rank Balrogs are walls. Like, you have to open them up.
Yeah, so what I'm going to say there is exactly that. They are walls, but they're walls without a lot of ability to reverse you. The only thing they have that's an easy reversal is tap, and if you don't commit too heavily to pressure, it's easy to it's a blockable thing. Like the high level taps are slow; they start up slowly. You just can't commit to big old buttons that'll still be active when they go into the invincibility of tap. So if you can keep consistent, relatively lighter, lights and medium pressure on Balrog, there's not a whole lot he can do. And you can mess up his tapping too by you can't stop him from doing it, but you can certainly throw him or otherwise mess him up because he's got his buttons restricted. So you've just got to keep the pressure on him and take advantage of that. Let him be his wall, chip him, but you think of yourself as the chisel. You just got to keep chiseling at him. So,
all right. So as far as Ibuki goes, the big thing you've got to understand about Ibuki, a lot of her mix-ups are seeable. You have to pay pretty close attention, but you can usually see what side she's coming from. And there are definitely certain ranges where if she tries to do her mix-up dash or she tries to do something, once you get an idea for what those ranges are, it's a lot easier to judge whether or not you're getting mixed up. So, especially when you get in the air bomb shenanigans or you get stuff like that's just incredibly difficult to get an idea for. If you look down at the bottom part of the screen while you're falling or while that stuff's going on, you can see which side they go to in prep. Another thing too, Ibuki does have a lot of safe normals, but she also has a lot of stuff that's minus on too. So just for reference, her stand light kick is -2. It's a 4-frame normal. So that's grabbable. Her stand heavy kick is a 10-frame normal that's -2. Her crouch, I'm just looking at this, her crouch minus kick is -3, so it's punchable. All of her target combos, are minus. You can you can get in and definitely punish and deal with her. Like a lot, she is not as safe as she looks. And if you can get in, especially punish her, like she is one of the lower health characters. She's only got 950 health. So she's definitely a character that if you are managing your resources and you're looking at, you can kind of judge, oh, they're about to get V trigger, especially since Ibuki is a 3-bar V trigger character. Like, you can kind of start planning out your assault for, they're at this health threshold. I need to land this hit so that I can kill them before they get these options. Like, learning to fight Ibuki is just learning to... It's understanding, like, when you need to explode. Like, play your game, chip them down. Don't, like, you see a lot of Ibukis doing VSkill to kind of build V-trigger to start that up. But just don't... Ibuki's game can be stopped. And the same can be said for Balrog. Balrog has more health, but you can plan your assault out to stop them before the V-trigger explosion happens.
Yeah, there's kind of two big things you can
Anyway,
do, which is,
shall we?
Yeah, which is straight up kill them before the trigger happens, or try to keep them suppressed long enough that they're almost dead before they can pop it. Or if they pop it and you're willing to defend, you can sometimes just force them to use it, time it out. All right, so let's get going. Again, this is a super platinum versus a diamond, so this is a very high rank match, which is going to be cool to watch. Hopefully we'll see some real good play.
That
so
was weird.
You can see here, this Ibuki is doing exactly what I said. She's just chipping away at Balrog, letting him be that wall. She'll win these mix-ups.
Did I?
And that's a
just
blockable overhead. So let me go back to that real quick because I wanted to mention that specifically because it is really like a thing people have trouble with against him. See how slow that is? That is very reactable. You see him come in with that dash punch overhead, you stand and block. You can train yourself to do it. It's not even that hard. It just takes some practice. And that kind of neuters his ability to mess you up at range.
So one thing too, you see the KKB, which is his kind of turnaround. You can check that, like.
Yeah, and any of those turnarounds, you can throw out a jab and it'll stuff anything he tries to do out of it. Yeah, so that was kind of classic dealing with Balrog, just chipping at him, never letting him really get going.
So what we're seeing here, especially on the Balrog side, is we're seeing like really consistent pressure. We're seeing very strong, safe block strings, and we're just seeing him kind of he's trying to open up the Ibuki here to get something started. And that's what happened. He waited, he kept his pressure consistent, and mistakes happened. So, because I go back real quick, and say something. I don't know if we're having technical issues or not. So I want you guys to pay attention right here. Stop, or go back just a little bit. Like, I want when Balrog's in midair. Now, or like. Kind of flicker it to where it right. So like, especially from this area, like you can look down and see where Ibuki's going to be.
It's also a thing that can help is learning how far her V-skill dash takes her, because that's a big component of her switching, is using that V-skill dash. It always goes a set distance. So if she's at a certain distance, she hits it, you can know whether she's going to end up on one side or the other based on how far you know that dash goes. Like here, 100%, if she hits it from here, she'll end up on the other side. So if you don't see her hit it, she's not going to be on the other side.
Okay. So we're seeing the throw to open up. No meaty, but
good check there. That was very, very fake from Ibuki.
So that was standing light, or I think that was crouching light kick to kick target combo. And here it comes.
Good confirm. Yeah, you've got to watch out for that target combo from Balrog. That's a big one they use a lot to confirm into V-trigger. The step, when you see them with V-trigger ready, start watching for that low into step. That's like number one way to get into V-trigger is Balrog, and they're going to go for it.
And the thing about that too, that's super punishable.
Yeah, if you block that step in, you can't. I don't think you can go a heavy on a lot of characters, but you can definitely go in as a medium.
Yeah, hang on, I'm pulling it right now. Stomping combo. Yeah, stomping combo is -6.
So yeah, so unless your name is Alex, you can get a medium combo off of that. Maybe Abigail too. I don't know if Abigail has a fast enough medium.
Abigail's fastest normal is like a 5-frame light. So
yeah, exactly. But like when they've got V-trigger, they're gonna start fishing with that low hit because it's a low that confirms into V-trigger cancel. So you just gotta start watching your feet a little bit more. And again, that overhead is reactable, so there's no reason you shouldn't be watching your feet all the time against Balrog. That'll shut down a lot of his shenanigans.
And you see it a lot. Like, that is one of the most common ranked things to see is, like, does Balrog have 3 bars of meter? You're getting clipped for a low. Like, they're going to come at you with it, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, so that actually brings up one thing I want to talk about, because almost all the characters we've seen today, except maybe Karen, and even hers is often used this way, have really, really strong V triggers they can use as cancels to extend combos and go into things, right? So I just want to talk real quick about what you should think about when you're facing characters that have these strong V triggers. So you hear a lot about meter management, right? Managing your own use of your meter so you have your resources on deck when you need them. The other side of this is you also should be not managing your opponent's meter, but you've got to keep an eye on it. We've talked about it a little bit with EX bars, but it's also very much true for V triggers. When you see someone building up to V trigger, their gameplay will often change. Like Ibuki's with V trigger ready, Balrog V trigger ready will start fishing for their combo openers because of the huge amount of damage they get off of those V triggers. Urians will start fishing. Micah's less so, but Zangief has specific moves he has to get into his from. People will naturally, because they have this big resource on deck, start trying to fish for a way to cancel into it. And that creates a predictable pattern of behavior. They're going to start using certain moves more, and that means you can defend against those moves. Especially in lower ranks where the flexibility levels of the players with their characters isn't usually so high. A lot of people in lower ranks only know like one method of getting into their V trigger, and so when they have it on deck, they'll start trying it over and over. Like to use my character's example, Zangief can only safely cancel into his V trigger off of his heavy hits and his flex punch, right? So when low level Zangiefs get their full V trigger, they'll often start fishing with standing heavy kick, standing heavy punch. They'll start flexing more, and all of that is very risky and can be punished by doing the right things. You can whiff punish those heavies very, very strongly. Standing heavy kick is duckable. Flexing can be punished heavily by throwing it. So, when you see that Zangief has that meter on deck, and, you can often watch their behavior change, and that gives you an opening, because now you know what they're thinking about, which means that you can predict it.
All right.
It's not, as you get higher in rank, people start getting less obvious about it, but there's still certain moves that say, I have V-trigger, this move is going to start coming out where it wasn't before. Dirty Stomp.
It may not be the first move they throw. It may be the move in the string. It may be the move in the frame trap. Like, especially with Laura, like, if I have V-trigger, I'm hitting you with frame traps until a button connects and then something's getting started. Like, I'm hitting you with pressure strings that just so happen to end in the button that I need to cancel my V-trigger into. Like, it may not be the first solution or the second or the third, or it may be the fourth hit in a string. But if someone's got that bar, or someone's got like that tool ready, they're looking for a way to use it, especially if it's something that may win you the match. Yeah. And like, especially at like low ranks, it's, oh, I just got hit with this 7-frame low. Oh no, there goes 80% of my health because I wasn't expecting, because this Balrog has full bar or full meter and everything else. So it's just like, it's just something you learn to be conscious of. And like, I know a lot of people struggle with Balrog and Ibuki, like, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't struggle with those characters on occasion too. But at a certain point, like, you start getting a sense for this character's about to explode, or this person is fishing for it. I've seen them do standing or crouching medium kick twice in a row. Like, I see it coming. I'm looking at them. I can wait for it. I can bait it. I can try to whiff punish it. Like, once you get an idea of what to look for, everyone's got tells, and at a certain point, they're always going to be, they're going to be looking for something. Everything that's about to happen to you was well deserved. I mean, we're only 10 minutes under the hour, so that's not. Hey, because they're not hearing you at all, just a heads up.
Just to repeat my previous comments, Micah VSkill's plus 11 on hit. Yeah, if you get hit by the microphone, you totally deserve it. But anyway, we had a little bit of, I wish I had another game from these two, the Balrog and the Ibuki here, because I want to see how it changed once more, because, like, the Ibuki was doing very well early on, and then I feel like she ceded a lot of control to the Balrog. I'm not sure why that was. I'd like to see more of that. I'm betting that Zangief quit out after Exalt's trashed him that bad. But I really want to see another match there because the Zangief versus Micah matchup is very dynamic. It varies a lot on how the players play, and I wanted to see if that Zangief could change because that's always entertaining. Watching someone figure something out on the fly, and that's what we. Exalt says I can go get the other matches. Maybe not tonight, but
yeah, but send those in to what's our email address? The Kizza.
nch.beginner.breakdowns@gmail.com.
What was that email address one more time?
nchbeginnerbreakdowns@gmail.com. Additionally, big shout out to our Injustice 2 Beginner Breakdown staff who are also using the same email address. If you happen to also be an Injustice player, you can also send your replays for that into the same email address, and our Injustice 2 staff, including Tau Zen Force, will take a look at those, and they have their own show at another time this week. I forget exactly when off the top of my head, but it's on our schedule on our Discord, which is linked. You can get from the chat, and you can be sure to check out the Discord if you're interested, as that will, especially if you're interested in playing more than one fighting game, because we are adding more and more every day.
We just recently added Smash Brothers to our lineup.
Blah blah blah. Smash Brothers is a fighting game. Jokes here. And again,
Don't do it. I'll ban you.
No. And again, next week will be Seth and I reviewing some of our own games against other strong players, and to review our own mistakes. It might all be just Seth's mistakes because it depends on if I have time to actually record my matches this upcoming week. But either way, we want to show you the ability to not only send us to review yours, but also the benefit of reviewing your own matches and seeing from your own perspective the mistakes you made, because we want to help you all, but we can't review everything. Sometimes you just got to go do your own homework. So look forward to that next week. Same time, same channel, 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST on Fridays, right here at New Challenger TV. I'm, as always, KZA, and with me, Seth Series. And any final comments, Seth?
That's honestly it. I'm really excited to bring y'all in here next week. We're really happy to have our replays. We've got the bot reminding you to send stuff in. We've got my DMs are always open. I actually plucked some stuff from the chat to bring into this weekly, so don't forget about that. But we're here to take care of y'all. We appreciate y'all sending us in, and don't hesitate to ping us. Don't hesitate to DM me. I'm Seth Series in the New Challenger Discord. You can see my name right up on the side, and it's alongside the coaches as well as the mod list. But, if you guys need anything or y'all have any questions, feel free to take care of us. And I ask people if I can use their replays all the time. So.
All right.
But outside of that, that's enough for me. I hope y'all have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.